not feeling well tonight, so he won't be joining us, and Eric is still testifying, so we'll go ahead and get started for pre-meeting stuff. So budget calendar, Zulima.
Budget calendar is first. Good evening, Mayor, councilors. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you this evening. So it's hard to believe it's that time of year again where we're starting to talk
Talked about the budget.
budgets. I know. Trust me, all the staff knows that. But this is the time when Financial Services Director Jill will just present you the budget calendar and just give you a sneak preview of what's to come and what you can expect from city staff in terms of deliverables and dates. So Jill is here to answer any questions if there are any about the calendar.
Awesome. Oh, Jill.
Good evening, Mayor, councilors. I don't know if there's a lot of discussion to it. It's the calendar that we present to you every year. In the red are items which are council specific. The black are more things that staff is working on, and there are some blue items. I think there's one in there that's the priority-based budgeting. So with that, again, it's just more informational for you. If you do have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Anybody have any questions for Jill?
So it,
Go ahead, Pat. Yeah.
so I did see someplace, I thought, about the legislative dinner. But I don't now see it.
Mayor, councilor, we presented the legislative calendar, which is a similar but different calendar.
Oh, okay.
This is very specific to our budget process.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions for Jill?
Guys, let me off easy. Thank you.
Thanks, Jill.
Thanks, Jill.
Appreciate it. Okay. Veterans Park Task Force.
Thank you. So for a little over a year now, the City of Casper Parks team, led primarily by Randy Norvell, our Parks manager, has been collaborating very closely with an established Veterans Park Task Force. This is a group of local veterans that came together to express interest in our Veterans Park and the future of that park into perpetuity, really. And so that group was very active, very engaged, and they met a number of times to talk through their desires for Veterans Park in the community. You may recall that the Parks and Rec Master Plan had suggested relocating Veterans Park to City Park at one point in time. And so that was the primary topic of conversation throughout these meetings. And so Nick Whips is here to sort of provide an overview. And then, as you can see, several members of the task force are here to address council if you have any questions or would like to hear from them.
Mr. Mayor, councilors, me today, and thank you for having us today to give an overview of what really is the epitome of what public and private partnership can do to better our community, really, at the end of the day. I have the distinct pleasure of being able to introduce individuals that have been a part of this task force since the beginning of the year, and they've made a lot of progress and helped make a lot of improvements at Veterans Park. We've got Eric Distad, the chair of the task force, Joseph Lackey, Kelly Ivanoff, Ray Wolf, and Dean Welch. And all of these fine gentlemen have been instrumental in this whole process. Just to give you an overview of what has been accomplished in this past year. As you know, in April 2024, council approved, like Zulima had talked about, council approved the demolition of the deteriorating council ring. As we have gone through it, we've improved maintenance at Veteran Park, uplifted trees, fertilized, sprayed broadleaf weeds, edged sidewalks, updated and replaced flagpole lights, removed wood post lighting and upgraded to aluminum and LED lighting. We did new concrete and brick to replace the old council ring, a new concrete path for connectivity to the main path, a new ADA ramp from the parking area to the sidewalk, new concrete bench pad. We are currently installing and finishing installing donated military benches. and installing 3 new trash receptacles. And I just want to be really clear that there was a lot of private donations, upwards of about $10,000 that went into this project. Just wanted to open up for questions. I'm on the tail end of this, and the individuals that can speak to everything that has happened in this past year are right here in front of you, and would be more than happy to answer any questions you have or speak to this project if anybody wanted to speak to this project. So.
Anybody have any questions for Nick or the task force? Yeah, you have some.
Well,
Sorry, I'm not just picking on Pat. I don't know why my eyes go straight to Shins.
hopefully we can hear from these gentlemen on process and
Yeah.
what they think. And
Great, thank you, Pat. Yeah, we'd love to hear if anybody would like to speak. To
I'll start out very briefly as the chairperson.
come on over
I
here.
would just say,
Microphone's over here.
that we were so very happy with the cooperation we got from the city parks department. I think everyone would echo that. It couldn't have been more collegial than it was. It helped us move things along very quickly, and we're just very excited about it. And I just urge everyone to go by and look at it. It's not complete, but it's very close. That's all I have. Kelly?
Thank you for the opportunity to be with you. Thank you for allowing veterans to be involved in this project. Tenuous times, that's a strong word, right? But there was some emotion, there was some sour emotion as this task force kicked off. And so to the credit of everyone in this room, to the vision of the folks that are part of the council and the city, much of that's been rectified. So as your representative and the Natrona County's representative to the Wyoming Veterans Commission, I want to thank you on behalf of veterans across the state and highlight you, this city, our residents, our veterans, as a bright spot, a bright community in the relationship between veterans and the citizens across the state. I'll take that message forward in the commission meeting that we're having in 2 weeks. But you need to know that. You need to know that it took some courage. You need to know that it took some patience to work through some of the feelings and the collaboration and to allow this to work itself out. I'll echo Eric's comments and I'll just say thanks. It is a different park today than it was a year ago. And I would remind you that war is a human condition. There's going to be more. And that's why we're requesting that some vacant spots be placed in that park with the idea that future monuments need to be added. It's going to happen again. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Any others wish to speak?
Any comments?
Dean, you've always got something.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is, like we said, the collaboration with the parks. Randy and his crews did a great job down there helping us out. We couldn't have done without it. The other thing that they also did was redid the street right beside that, so it beautified the whole thing. So it ties it all together. But like I say, if you get a chance to go down there and walk through it, it's a lot nicer now, and people are using the benches. And we've got the lighting on the flags fixed where those are lit up really well all the time. So thanks again. Appreciate you guys helping us out. And we look forward to looking at you for more help in the future.
Got the jacket.
Anything else?
Promote.
Want to wrap us up? Nick?
Yeah. Once again, just an amazing opportunity for partnership. I will just mention real quick, the task force did provide some recommendations moving forward. And you have that in the letter that was penned on August 14th, 2025. But I do want to just talk about a few of those recommendations. Obviously, retain Veteran Park at its current location as a permanent site for honoring the Natrona County veterans. Issue a proclamation affirming the city's deep appreciation for its veterans and recognizing Veterans Park as a lasting symbol of that relationship. Formally conclude the Veterans Park Task Force following council's acceptance of these recommendations, and acknowledge of their mission completion, and then designate the Natrona County Veteran United, or the Natrona County United Veterans Council as the city's future advisory body for veterans-related park issues and improvements. So that's kind of a high-level highlight of some of the recommendations that they put forward.
Any questions? Yeah, go ahead, Pat.
So
And you go.
who's all on the United Council? Veterans Council?
We've got members from the Legion, VFW, EAV, Elks, Marine, the Marine Corps League, Combat Vets. It's open to any other vet organizations that want to come up with, we have a monthly meeting, first Monday of every month. So people are welcome to come up and join in on the meetings if they'd like, or if they have any topics, they know any veterans that need help, that's the first place to go. Let us know, and we all work together to try and resolve problems that may come up in the community for our veterans.
Yeah, bet, Kyle.
Who's the best point of contact if someone wants to attend or get involved with that group, Dean? Is that you?
Hank Lorenz is
Hank Lorenz.
currently our president of the council. And he's also the commandant for the Marine Corps League, as well as he represents the Elks. So he's our guide for, he also coordinates with all the military funeral honors. I can give you Hank's number if you want, Kyle.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious if y'all had a website or something I could refer people to. Or...
They don't have a website for it.
Okay.
Working
Yeah.
through that.
I'll, if you want to text it to me, Dean, that'd be great.
On the Veterans Commission, I forgot that, and then Patrick is our secretary, Senator Barrasso's office. So.
I guess for action from you all would be specific to we as city recommendations, and we request that you support us to proceed with the related action items. So that's what we ask of you tonight.
Absolutely.
So, Mayor, so first off, thanks for your service, and I see Caleb came in just a bit ago, but so is there a need to get in the task force? I mean,
As far as a council member,
yeah,
to be a part of it as a liaison.
well, no, I mean, as far as the task force itself, to end it.
Oh, that's a good question. You know, Zulima?
Mayor, Counselor, if I understand the question, you're asking, is there a reason we're dissolving the task force? And actually, they requested that in their formal letter to us. So I think they felt like their mission was complete and, and now this particular group doesn't feel like they need to meet anymore, but would like us to designate this Natrona County United Veterans Council as our go-to group when we have questions or veteran-related issues that we want to work through.
Thank you. That makes sense, Pat.
If I may, with regard to the task force, we've done about the work that we can do to this point, and having continuous meetings really ties up city resources. JJ's been phenomenal. JJ Dockendorf. Randy's been incredibly supportive. They're at our meetings. We don't need to tie them up anymore for business that we can do, recommendations that we need to make, or advice that you ask us for. So I think dissolving the task force and shifting that to another standing body does a lot for both parties.
Then one other thing, shameless plug, couple of folks on plus Caleb in the back. Wave. So we're currently working on another project called Silent Battle, and about raising funds for that, but the group kind of decided that the better location is near the fallen heroes down along the river, and Randy has been involved with that, and Nick knows about it. But we're not at a point yet where Caleb will come and do a presentation, but we're getting there. So
Thanks, Pat. Well, thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate the support and the work that you guys have done, and being able to move forward to do something to honor veterans. So, thank you so much.
thanks for all your
Is
work.
council good with these proposals? Perfect. Awesome. So you got your direction.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Stand there.
Stay there, Nick.
Here. Yeah. Yeah, you're more than welcome to. Yeah, okay, absolutely. And you can go over the other side. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Nice to meet you. Of course.
I'm not done talking.
All right, Washington Park.
Thank you, Mayor. So you've probably noticed a number of grant requests coming forward. It is grant season. This is generally the time of year where grant applications are required. And so our request for tonight is for another Land and Water Conservation Fund grant, which will make improvements to Washington Park as part of a Phase 4 project. And so Land and Water Conservation Fund grants are a little unique in that they do require a resolution of the City Council in order to submit an application. So we wanted to bring this item to you this evening and then answer any questions that you might have. And then assuming council supports submittal of the application, you will see a resolution come forward in a future business meeting. The grant application deadline is November 30th, so it would be the next regular business meeting, which would be 2 weeks from tonight, that you'll see the resolution on the agenda if you support our submission. So, but I will turn it over to Nick, if you're okay, Mayor, to answer any questions, give you an overview of our plans for Phase 4.
Awesome. Mr. Mayor, Councilor Salima succinctly wrapped up our plan for Phase 4 of this grant application. But to give you a little more insight into what Phase 4 entails, it's specific to the west side of Washington Park, where you see that kind of informal sledding hill that people utilize in many different ways, right? So with that, the proposed improvements for this phase of the grant would include burying the overhead power lines that sit at the bottom of that hill. If we've got people sledding at the bottom of the hill, we don't want them running into power lines, right? Constructing a warming hut for sledders and trail users. A nice warming hut, expanding the naturalized vegetation and to improve the aesthetics and even more importantly, the sustainability of this portion of the project. Developing multi-use ADA accessible soft surface trails for all season recreation, and then building an overlooking pergola or council ring to foster community gatherings with the intent that we create a destination for our community to go to on the west side of that park for all seasons. And that's the intent of our grant application today. So as far as financial considerations, the anticipated total project budget, which we are currently finalizing, is up to $1.5 million with a $750,000 match through LWCF. And then, like we said, we need pre-grant approval to then put forward the resolution for us to then submit the grant and everything that's entailed. So with that, I would open it up to any questions you might have.
Questions? Yeah, go ahead, Pat.
So if you were behind the band shell and then go up to the street that runs behind there. And there's a little eclipse area that you can pull through and then it dives off into the neighborhood. Is that the sledding hill? I would hope not.
Counselor, no. So it's further to the south. There's actually a park shelter located at the top of the hill that the neighborhood youth go down
Jefferson.
as part of the sled hill.
So this is the sled hill right here. Dumps like right into, what is that, Divine, pretty much? Yeah, so kids all sled.
So it's actually south of that drive-through circle that you referred to.
Oh, okay.
Like if you pull out of that, you're going back onto that road, it's on your right.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
Thanks, Mayor. I'm excited we're gonna be giving this area some attention because it's definitely popular when it gets snowy out. I got two questions, I think. What exactly does a warming hut entail? Like, what does that look like? Oh, and I can hang on to that question. Are we gonna see more detailed designs at some point in the future, more thorough work session about, or?
Mayor, Counselor, I would say yes, the funds would have to be acquired
Sure.
for us to actually do the design. All of these recommendations were rooted in the Parks and Rec master plan. So the consultants that did our master plan recommended making these improvements to the west side of the park just to enhance the way that it's being used right now already by residents and people traveling to the park. So in terms of a warming hut, in its simplest form, you can just envision a small enclosed building that's got a heater in it. So people who are playing outside in the snow could step in and warm up, similar to what you see on cross-country ski trails.
So if we get the funding, will there be any public forums or town halls or opportunities for our folks to weigh in, or do we have a pretty good idea of what we'd like to do over there?
Mayor, Counselor, so you may remember that when we started the Washington Park Revival, we did several open houses and engaged the neighborhood quite a lot to determine what their priorities were for the park and what improvements they would support and like to see. So we do feel like that public engagement was done pretty thoroughly at that time. However, we will absolutely take direction from council if you would like to see more public engagement specific to the recommendations for the sledding hill and or trails on that hillside along the west side of the park. We're happy to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know how formalized the effort needs to be. I'll just take it upon myself to go out there the next big snow day and just ask people, well, ideally, what would this area look like? Because I got faith the consultants know what they're talking about, but my guess is they've never sledding hill at Washington Park. And as somebody that's done it a lot, I definitely have a feel for kind of how people use the park. I would love to see, again, not that we should build it to my personal preference, but I've seen, you know, on the left, more southern part of the park, sometimes just natural rutting occurs and it creates kind of this luge type thing. And I used to go to Grant Elementary School and we had a luge type sledding hill at that school that we'd all bring our trash bags and slide down that.
Remember that?
And it was like all the kids loved, you know, there's kids love feeling kind of tucked in and under vegetation and stuff. So I just didn't know if there'd be opportunities to kind of flesh out and talk about whether it's great to have just a hill to sled down, but kids really love, you know, kind of feeling like they're in a track. And so you know,
More adventure.
yeah, I mean, and I've seen that happen naturally in that area, so I didn't know. I'm guessing it would be super simple to just kind of carve out some natural ruts so that when it does snow, it just naturally kind of folds. Like Grant Elementary, they did not have their custodian out there creating this sled hill. It was just the way the landscape was naturally. It just happened. So,
Snow drifted.
yeah.
So does council want to see that? Is that something that we want to see more of that? Yeah, Jenna.
I can just say, I attended several of those town halls on the Washington Park when they first were talking about it years ago, before I was even on council, I believe. And I remember a lot of people did have feedback, and the kids do. I mean, they just bring their shovels and they make their own, you know, and they rewrap the posts with different bags. So I don't, at this point, because you're already writing the grants and already doing the stuff for it, so how is that gonna mess it up when you have more feedback, which you already got going for a plan? I mean, is that more, ends up being more work and
So Mayor, Council, I think what I would recommend is that we submit the application. We see if we are approved for funding. Generally speaking, in the timeline of things, the application's due at the end of November. We generally know sometime in the spring if the state is going to recommend funding of the project to the National Park Service, because LWCF funds come from the National Park Service. If the state recommends funding, then it's generally, we spend 4 or 5 months doing any legwork that MPS has and finalizing the contract, which would be awarded in October, so this time next year. Once that is done, then we would try to retain a design firm to help us with the design. And so much like what we're doing with Washington Park Bandshell, we've invited the municipal band in to participate with the design, and we could do the same thing with these improvements. In fact, tomorrow we have an electronic converse outdoor rec collaborative meeting, and we are presenting this project to that collaborative, requesting letters of support from them because these improvements are closely tied to outdoor recreation. And so we could even utilize members of that group to, help inform the design once we actually have a consultant on board. We're not proposing to LWCF very specific design components, other than we're saying, we want to bury the power. We want to create some berms to keep kids from sledding right out into the street.
Yeah, whoever's house that is with the, I feel bad for them. Kids are always ending up in their backyard.
So it's very high level at this grant application level, but once we dig into design, it's really easy to solicit that public engagement.
Does that satisfy it, Kyle? for you?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Sounds like we'll have
Plenty of time.
multiple opportunities to discuss this again. So.
Awesome. Any other questions for Nick or Salima? Awesome. Do you need anything from us?
Thumbs up saying we can do.
Oh, yep, thumbs up.
With that, we'll prepare a resolution. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it. All right, agenda review. Running a little bit behind here. Do you have anything for agenda review?
Just hopefully all of council noted that there was a last minute item removal for the purchase of some firearms for PD. And so that has come off, and we're working with staff to develop a new strategy for that item. So you'll notice it will not be on the consent agenda or on the agenda at all tonight.
I have one question about
Yeah,
that.
you bet.
I will hold it.
Okay. All righty. If there's nothing else, why don't we go out there and get ready?